And welcome back, everybody, to the Voice of College Football. It's the Ocho, and I want to thank everybody for coming back. We've tweaked the name to bring in the folks and drive home the point that this is a Big Ten show. But instead of having everybody do the phone lines, we've got our StreamYard and we've got our community panel and talk about the issues of the week for the Big Ten. My name is John Diadamo, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour or so. I host this show. I also usually host Michigan Wolverines Live, although tomorrow night it'll be Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football, hosting Michigan Wolverines Live because I'm going to be in the air on an airplane. So going to be doing that. So everybody support Mark tomorrow night as well. As you come in, please hit the like button. Only takes a second, and it's completely free. So come on now. Hit the subscribe and support Voice of College Football. And, of course, share the YouTube link out with multiple friends, Discord chats, Facebook groups. And if you want inspiration, just do what Jackson Johnson does. And speaking of Jackson Johnson, joining us on our Voice of College Football community panel today is Jackson Johnson, host of the Jacksonian, back with us. Hey, Jackson.
How you doing, John?
I'm good, man. I'm in the run up here to hitting Atlanta, and excited about that. So we got some college football to talk about. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. By the way, you'll be an hour ahead of me. What's it gonna be like in the future?
I guess I'll find out. I'll have to hit up past you and let you know about future you. Or whatever. On that note, we got a couple
of silver coins.
We've got joining us one of our reasonable Buckeyes here at the Voice of College Football. We have Sean Garner minus facial hair. How about that?
Yeah, even cavemen groom up sometimes.
I'll tell you this though. It's like Alex Trebek getting rid of the mustache. You know, it's gonna take a lot of getting used to.
Yeah, Jackson. I don't know. Advice from the future here. Dump your Bitcoin. Not going anywhere.
Oh, you won't have to worry about that because I don't have that anywhere near my investment tracks.
And coming up next, we've got a friend of the network. Even though he's not a Big Ten member, he will be someday. Will ND in the house.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me on, John.
It's always glad when you
Gunners
can stop
got the
by.
win today, so I'm happy.
There you go. Whatever. I don't follow that sport. Is that soccer?
Okay. Yeah, we're in the title race, so we kept pace with the leaders.
It's football.
Football, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And last but certainly not least, we've got one of our resident Michigan Wolverines supporters and friend of the program. We've got Moose. Go Blue.
Go Blue. What's up, fellas?
Howdy.
We're doing pretty good. How you doing this week, Moose?
I'm doing great. I watched the combine all weekend, and man, Michigan balled out, man.
I'm wondering if JJ McCarthy's going to be a Denver Bronco now that Russ Wilson is out.
We are going to get to all of that. So keep those good thoughts for later in the show for sure. I do want to encourage everybody, if you have a comment or question, we have a lot of content to get to today, believe it or not. I know it's shocking, but we do. And so definitely hit a super chat if you want your comment or question read on screen. And also just a reminder about coming up next, Trojan Conquest Live. So thank you for that. Okay. So for those of you who haven't seen, there was an article that was published on Friday by CBS Sports' Dennis Dodd, and he kind of goes into the fact that the Big Ten and the SEC are really flexing their brands and their schedules as the college football playoff expands. The first sentence is, the expanded college football playoff is beginning to look like an invitational. I don't know if did you miss last year where they left out the 13-0 team? It's been an invitational for a minute, but even more so. And so the second sentence I'm going to ask you about this. The Big Ten and SEC have grown so powerful and so bold, they're acting like the world is not enough. They'll settle for most of the expanded playoff bracket. And they have extensive demands. And so I guess kind of one of, we've been hearing about this, and now we've got another data point and a few other sources kind of that he reached out to. Are the Big Ten and SEC gonna basically just run college football? Is that where we're at? Jackson, what do you think?
It honestly feels like that, especially after the story that I read from Ross Dillinger on Yahoo Sports, where he was talking about how the SEC and Big Ten were having their little hissy fits, throwing temper tantrums at the grocery store because they want to have 4 of their representatives have automatic bids in the playoffs. And I got to say, that's not good for college football. It is not good. And you add that CFP TV contract with ESPN, where it kind of feels like there's an ESPN monopoly. And we saw last year where Florida State got screwed over. And if you look back on College Game Day, where Theo Vaughn was guest starring as the guest picker that week, you saw Greg Sankey having this lobbying session on how the SEC should have 2-3 teams in the playoffs. And that's where I should have seen the signs. I didn't see it, but now I know. But
they just drop the pretense of objectivity here, right? Fairness. No, we're just gonna guarantee ourselves 4 spots.
Yeah, because I felt like we were going to be heading there with like 4 spots for the SEC, 4 spots for the Big Ten. It feels like a monopoly, and it's not good for college football.
I mean, the problem with that is, though, like, that wouldn't help Florida State, though, bringing in Fox, CBS, because ESPN also, like, owns the ACC. So it was just a whole rough situation for Florida State.
Well, remember a while back when I told you Notre Dame better get in or get left behind? That's where it's coming right now. It's getting to that point.
The Notre Dame commissioner is definitely in the mix here. Trying to negotiate the best situation that they can.
This is where, like, the leadership, having basically no leadership at the NCAA and having no direct leadership of the sport of college football, really screws itself. Because, I mean, basically right now it's like playground and there's no teachers out to monitor. So the big bad bullies are just running the whole show. They've got there's one, it's the Jets and the Sharks, and then everyone else is a little minnows. I mean, it's a bad situation. There needs to be more centralized leadership in this sport. And I think the lack of it has led us to where we are right now, where you have a couple of bully conferences with the nerve, with the gumption to just say, yeah, just give us 5 spots, right?
Yeah.
Why do we even need these ACC and Big 12,
Yeah, just
it's bad.
I mean, like it's pretty shocking, like how brazen these 2 conferences have gone in their demands. So
it kind of felt like this whole situation kind of feels like an episode I saw on Gunsmoke, where like the Texas trail herds were like wanting to act a fool in Dodge City, and Marshall Dillon has to put a stop to it. then the business owners are throwing a fit because it's like, well, the Texas Trail Boss Ranch is throwing a fit, so we're going to let you do the work in the country. We'll hire a man of our approval, the constable, to run things in Dodge City. But then when the constable's running things don't end too well. And the business owners are like, oh, we learned our lesson. We're going to be seeing this kind of a situation eventually where the people pushing for this monopoly of the Big Ten SEC are going, okay, we learned our lesson. I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll wait and see. We need a Marshall Dillon running college football.
Well, I want to get your guys' take on this. So one of the quotes in the article, and there are some outlets that would have sounded the alarm bells and they would have put this as the first thing. And I give Dennis credit for not doing this, because I think this is a very unlikely possibility. However, one of the unnamed AD sources that he has essentially said that the Big Ten and the SEC are having discussions about departing from the NCAA. If they don't get, if they're not happy, they're not satisfied with the situation, they might just take their ball and go home. What do we
shows you just how much football runs everything, because I mean, are they going to remove all of their other schools, all their other sports from NCAA championship contention? I mean, the volleyball team. Sorry, you can't go and win a national championship now because we had a bad TV deal with. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. So apparently, John. Ohio State offered Mason Graham $1.75 million to transfer. Wow.
Well, that sounds right. Sounds about right.
That's crazy.
About what he's worth.
Should have offered more.
Yeah, should have opened up the wallet. I mean, it's tough though. That's a tough sell to get somebody to transfer to their most hated rival. Like, it's one thing to go to Alabama, like Keon Sapp did. Like, I get that. And he wasn't going to be a starting safety. He was going to be at nickelback. He got a sweet Mercedes. I don't know if anybody saw that Mercedes. He's balling.
Yeah, but Mason Graham's from LA. He's not he's not necessarily from this part of the world. Who knows how deep he is in the rivalry?
Speaking of that, Caleb Downs apparently unfollowed Ohio State, and he's following some Michigan players now on Twitter, from what I've been hearing.
I'm not getting my hopes.
No, this is getting too tinfoil hatty for the voice of college.
This is getting interesting.
The weeds.
I'm not getting my hopes up on the tweets.
I'm not either, but it's interesting.
Listen, no one would be happier than this guy if Caleb Downs decided to go to Michigan, but I just think it's very. I think he
might just be bargaining for more NIL money. That's what I'm getting.
That's probably what it is. The agent, and this happens. Look, this happened with Brian Kelly as a coach practically every year. Your best friend Brian Kelly will. His name was out there. They put his name out there for the Michigan job. So these agents, they do this and they generate buzz, and now they're doing it for the players as well as the coaches. One thing also in this article before we move on is that the Big Ten and the SEC, as in the new conferences as they are about to exist in 24, would have had 75% of the top two seeds in the new playoff. So that's 15 of 20. I guess there will be some changes happening, and there will be some additional people, and even a G5 team contending in the playoff. But quite a few of the top two seeds would have been the Big Ten and the SEC the last 10 years. So,
yeah. I mean,
Somebody's having a
we
great
kinda-
time.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, that's my friends upstairs on our spring break trip.
Oh, someone's having a
Oh,
swinging
wow.
party, man. I'm loving it.
Right. Giggity, giggity.
I
All
can
right.
mute if you want. But...
All right.
On
And
that note,
and like probably the rest of those are all Clemson, right? The top two seeds.
probably Clemson. Clemson and maybe TCU, and not a lot of others. So yeah. Everybody, when you're doing your shopping on Amazon, which some of us do, some of us don't, but if you do, please take 2 seconds and use the link on any video to help Mark Rogers as well as the voice of college football get a couple of bucks to help with running the network and getting great guests and great content. Also, Jackson and I both have our voice of college football mugs of it here, right? And we're both modeling the mugs here, and so
Nice.
check out that voice of college football merch for some high quality merch for the college football fan in your life.
Exactly. I mean,
I'm
there's
still-
like wine glasses. There's a notebook, especially for you moms, especially that go through everything a lot.
John, I'm still waiting for the double beer hat. You know, you can sip through your mouth.
Oh,
Are they gonna
that
make
would
that
be something.
The Happy Gilmore hat.
Hey, you got plenty of. I feel like there's something in here for you, or there are people in your life. We do have some hats. They don't have beer in them, but we got some hats. Dog ball.
There's beer in that.
There's beer. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There you go. So if you're looking to get plastered on a Friday night after work, that's the perfect beer glass right there.
Sounds
But
like Will is.
but don't
It actually
give it to
does look like
alcoholics.
a solid beer glass. Put that in the freezer.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So these three, and we'll go over a couple others, but these three, not just Sports Illustrated, but a couple other outlets, all said that these were some of the NFL Combine winners. Michael Penix Jr. And the way that he was putting that zip on the ball during his drills. Xavier Worthy, actually broke a record. For the 40 time. He broke a record to do that. So that was pretty cool. And Chop Robinson, edge rusher at Penn State. So, I'm not sure who saw the combine, who didn't, but we all I think know these three pretty well.
Was this okay? Xavier Worthy's actually not a big.
I'm gonna say right now.
I gotta go. I'll be back next week. I gotta go.
Okay, well.
I'm going to say right now, and I'm not being biased, but I watched the whole combine, and JJ was the best quarterback at the combine. I'm sorry.
Ooh, well,
you don't have to take my word for it either. I've got the list of everybody's grades, and JJ was higher than Penix and Nix.
Yeah, I think his 3-cone drill. So he was he actually made top 5 overall on the 3-cone drill. And I think that's helped his numbers a bit. I kind of figured he'd be shaky on the go routes on the deep ball. Given that he doesn't really get to throw them that much. He threw a couple when he needed to in key moments.
He threw a beautiful one though.
He did. Yeah, the one he hit in the go routes. It was damn good. But
the other two were only like 2 or 3 yards overthrown. They were pretty close.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, but
I think it was a timing thing. He's not used to that receiver.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. But I mean, you are seeing a chorus of media people, kind of. This is now I wouldn't call it a consensus, but getting there. Because the amount of stories I've read that JJ McCarthy is now in the top 10 or might go 8th if Jaden Daniels gets picked sooner than 8th at the Falcons. So
Well, I mean, right now
yeah.
it looks pretty likely that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. I would think. I mean, those are all pretty quarterback needy teams. It definitely looks like the Bears are going to trade Fields.
I don't get that. If I were the Bears, I'd keep Fields and go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I really don't understand why they wouldn't.
Like if you have that strong a feeling on Caleb Williams, if you think he has that much higher of a ceiling, I think you just got to do it.
Yeah, got to do it.
Plus, the fact is, you're going to have to pay Fields pretty soon. Like he's not going to be on that rookie contract beyond the next year, really. Even if they pick up that 5th-year player option, they're going to have to pay him like $35 million next year. So,
real.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about the draft. I'm hearing like rumors that Minnesota might trade up to 4 to get Jaden Daniels or somebody. So that's weird right now.
Well, I do think Washington, like they're like for sure take. I can't imagine them not taking a quarterback. New England, I mean, they need so much. I almost feel bad taking a quarterback if I'm New England because their offense is just such a mess.
I think you just roll with mac and cheese one more year. Mac and cheese one more year, and then you get your pieces, and then you get your quarterback next year maybe. Darrell says Marvin Harrison Jr. is in play. I can't even. When was the last time the Patriots had a wide receiver that good? Was it like Randy Moss that one year?
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Well, no, literally. I mean, like, who's the best receiver that the Patriots drafted under Bill Belichick that wasn't taken in the 7th round because they got Julian Edelman there, but like every other receiver that they selected, like turned out to be nothing.
Yeah,
like, the whole time he was there.
Or the trades, he got lucky on some trades.
Oh yeah,
but
no, but I mean, I mean, if he settles in as that 4th quarterback, which it kind of sounds like, I mean, I definitely don't agree with it, but it sounds like the consensus is, he's probably going to be the 4th quarterback taken in this class. There's probably going to be a fairly strong market, teams trying to move up, trying to move ahead of him, and he could go in somewhere in that 6, 7, 8 range. A lot will depend on what happens in free agency too. Like, where does Justin Fields wind up? Where does what happens with Kirk Cousins? Even what happens with Russell Wilson? Like, does he go to one of these teams? That is quarterback needy. But there will be a lot more known in like 2 or 3 weeks.
The Bears. Golden. I'm guessing you're a Bears fan, because I think we should keep Fields. Yeah, so you're a Bears fan. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think that would be the smart play. Caleb. Okay, look, Caleb won a Heisman. I think Caleb is a talented QB. Is he going to like pull an Eli Manning and like say he's not as interested in the Bears? So far I haven't seen indication that he's going to do that. He seems like he's settled into the idea based on what I've read anyway. But so he's talented, but I think there's still some things unproven that he's going to need to show at the NFL level.
I agree.
Like all the buzz is basically though that Ryan Poles, I think, even made a comment saying like they want to get something done with Fields out of respect to him.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
It really does seem like the writing's on the wall. That's the direction that they are going. Agree with it or not.
Going back to the combine, I will say, Xavier Worthy, and look, Michigan essentially has had one really, really good wide receiver the last year or two. Roman Wilson, I would say, is the best that we've been able to produce. So watching Xavier Worthy just go out and like do that, and we could, Michigan could have had Xavier Worthy if admissions had gone that way, but unfortunately it didn't. So there's been some controversy recently with Josh Gaddis on Twitter, getting into it with some fans again, just the other day. So maybe it's time to just give up Twix for him, and go focus on other things, man. Because arguing with random fans over Twitter, it never ends well.
Well, the fan account that he was arguing with did have over 20,000 followers. I did see, so it wasn't like complete nothing.
But if you're in his position and you're arguing with somebody, a kid on Twitter, you've already lost, in my opinion.
Right, like, dude, you got like important shit to do. Like, you got to go, recruit and stuff.
Yeah, you're a Big Ten football coach, and here you are. I mean, but I don't think the message was intended for that particular user. I think he was maybe sending a veiled threat to the University of Michigan and to possibly the fandom of Michigan. It's like, I got tea to spill. Whether he does, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly the reason Worthy ended up transferring was because Gaddis had relations with his
admissions was really really tough on those on the credits, and we're gonna keep it there for the purposes of our family friendly program.
Maybe I think he's maybe saying Mrs. Worthy should have had tighter admissions.
I did say relations. I said it all proper, like.
All right, but I think he was. I mean, he really was a cut above everybody. I mean, he really did blow me away. Like, out of every, I was kind of watching this coverage, and literally it was 9. The one day it was 9 hours, and I was hitting fast forward a little. I'm not gonna lie, I can't do 9 hours. But I did see this, and it was pretty remarkable what he was able to do.
Well, I mean, broke the record 4-2-1.
Yep, broke the record.
Yeah, it's Xavier Worthy. I'm curious to see who he's going to be drafted by. I'm curious to see who gets him. And I know Golden Playbook was just talking about, the Bears need to stick with Justin Fields. Agreed. I mean, not only that, but go get Marvin Harrison, like, trade that number 1 draft pick to the nearest sucker, like you did last year with the Panthers, because there's always going to be somebody fishing for that number 1 pick. So I mean, I'm kind
of glad that Will left, because it wasn't a good combine for the Notre Dame players. I can tell you that. Hartman was horrible, and Estime was horrible too.
Yeah, Estimate
was. Yes, I
did want to
bring up this about Xavier Worthy. I don't know if you guys follow a guy named Kentley Platt on Twitter. He runs this relative athletic score metric. You may have seen this. Well, basically, it's a metric designed to incorporate all of the combine testing into a score to determine someone's relative, like their overall athletic ability. And Xavier Worthy ended up as a 937, which means he's like in the 94th percentile of all athletes.
Oh, you're talking about the RAS score.
Yep. Yeah. He's super high. He didn't test in the agility at all, but he not only did he break the record at the combine, but he also jumped 41 in the vertical and had a 10-11 broad jump, and those are both just insane numbers. Where he gets killed, what really drags his rating down, though, and as you see, he's still really high, but his size, 5'11 and 2/8, so 5'11 and a quarter, okay size for a receiver, not good, not indifferent. 165 pounds. That is in the 3rd percentile for weight for receivers. 165. Yeah, it's. I mean, like, so he's probably. I mean, I can't imagine. Devontae Smith was around that, and he was taller, even thinner, and I think you could even see, like, you could see there. Xavier Worthy's not a bulky guy at all. He's very thin, very wiry. So it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine him going too high. I don't think he'll be a first round pick. I think he'll probably go in like the top 15 of day 2. But he'll have that record for until someone eclipses it. And that'll probably be a long time. 4.21
a while.
4.21 is that is moving.
Yeah. Yeah, he may need to bulk up slightly, especially if he wants to go to the Harbaugh Chargers. But I think there's some finesse teams, that are more on the finesse side, that might be more open to it. I would say I know the Chiefs aren't a finesse team as much, but listen, they always could use another, really good wide receiver. Of course. I'm gonna make Darrell happy with that statement.
I gotta be honest. If the Chargers can't get a Super Bowl with Harbaugh, then they'll definitely never get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree with you. I absolutely.
Well, John,
agree.
I've seen Penix. Penix isn't very good with the deep ball. I saw him underthrow somebody really bad, and he had a really bad overthrow. And also on his goal line fade, he had a couple bad throws too. So I just think JJ looked more sharp than Penix did.
I don't know if I can go with you there, and I'm trying, but I think that they both had strengths, right? I think that Penix had more strengths, obviously with the throwing drills and even some of the go routes. JJ had his strength with the 3-cone drill. They both had strengths. And so, I can't say JJ was better personally.
And literally, who gives a crap what these guys look like? And these throwing drills are useless. That is the most useless part of the combine, are the throwing drills.
Well, John, on that out pass where it looked like he overthrew the receiver, if you watch it again, the receiver he undercut his route. That's why it was overthrown, and he almost slipped down.
I know. I saw that too. That's true. That is true.
With the Buccaneers, we don't know if Baker Mayfield is staying or not yet officially.
He is not taking a hometown deal, though. He will not take so he's looking for $40 million.
Oh, wow.
And that's odd, given a guy who's moved around as much as he has. You'd think he would want to lock up a job at least for the next year. He's literally been on 5 teams in the past 2 years or 3 years.
I don't think one of the top quarterbacks are going to be going to the Bucs. That probably is going to be Baker Mayfield. So I don't think one of the top recruits.
What about the Giants, though? Because, I got a feeling they're sick.
I think they've got too much tied up in Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, 40-something million a year, right? Danny Dimes.
Yeah, but we've seen in this era in the NFL, contracts mean nothing, and there's always a loophole to get out of them.
Well, you can definitely get out of this. You don't even need much of a loophole. All you have to do is absorb a crap ton of dead cap money, which the Broncos just did today. $85 million dead cap hit.
If the Broncos got sick to death of Russell Wilson and got rid of him within the snap of a finger,
they really.
I can see that with the Giants and Danny Dimes because, let's be honest, without Brian DeBall, Daniel Jones is just another bust.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they've got so many issues to address. Their offensive line is a total mess.
True.
They don't, and they have abs, and they have I don't even know do you want to bring a rookie quarterback into the situation they have on offense right now? Because it's bad.
I would bring him in for the backup job and let him sit and learn. Then have if Daniel Jones lights it up with some decent competition, then you've got something. And if he transfer, if you trade him out,
but if you draft someone 6th overall, they're going to be the starter eventually. Yeah. Daniel Jones was the 6th overall pick. I remember Dave Gettleman that night said he might he might be sitting for 3 years. We've got Eli. We've got a great quarterback, and I think like week 3 they threw him in there.
Oh man, Dave
much for
Gettleman.
sitting for 3 years. Yeah,
Dave Gettleman was a complete and total imbecile as a general manager, man. Like he was a freaking imbecile.
Before we keep going on this, we do want to honor Minnesota Dave, who gave us some money, so we appreciate that. What if these conferences have down years? Seriously, there's a chance that there could be a couple 9-3 teams that will make the playoffs. Yeah.
Some will.
Yeah.
Some
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Especially you expand it to 14. Yeah.
I don't think the playoff field should be at 12 or 14. It should either be at 8 or 16.
Darrell has the solution right here. How come nobody just drafts Patrick Mahomes? I mean, this is really the hard-hitting question that we need to get here.
It's an option that's always on the table, right?
Yeah. I mean, Caleb, look, the Bears look like they're going to do it with Caleb. I mean, that's probably the closest equivalent. So
one of the highest rated guys. I mean, like coming out, like I think everyone would be surprised if Caleb is a bust.
Yeah.
If the Bears had drafted Patrick Mahomes, he'd have been screwed. That's what I think.
Man, that looks like one of the worst. They traded up to draft Mitch Trubisky.
Oof.
Patrick Mahomes.
Oof.
That's too funny.
Freezing cold takes there, as I'm sure you could go back and you'd hear people saying that was a great decision.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Everyone. I mean, like people get roasted for their bad takes, but if you have to put your takes on offer for public consumption, there's going to be plenty for everyone that they kind of cringe in hindsight.
I've had some cringe bad takes from time to time for sure. I mean, but I'll make sure to own up to them. Just be like, hey, I had this take on so and so date. Just let everybody know.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly.
We all have them.
When you get a hot take, you let everyone know it. When you got a cold take, you let everyone know it.
Yeah, there's some debate in the chat right now on JJ and how high he's going to go, and some people saying Penix will go higher. And I don't think anybody can argue that Caleb and Daniels and May will probably go above for sure. And then
it certainly seems that way, but like the rumor mill, I mean, like the market's more volatile than people think. Like there could be a lot of buzz behind JJ, and he could get vaulted above one of these. I mean, like it definitely could happen. Or Penix or even Bo Nix. You're going to hear a lot. You're going to hear rumors that all these guys are moving up in the next. Well, you're going to get some.
It's not just rumors. Actually, NFL expert texted somebody.
No. They are rumors.
JJ could be top 10 pick. He's not just some guy that sits on the couch and predicts things. These are actual experts.
But you hear, but they get these wrong all the time. Last year, the week of the draft, Will Levis, he was like minus 300 to be the second overall pick. This was the week of the draft. So there is a lot of volatility there. I mean, and they're going based on information too. Will Levis was supposed to be like a surefire top 5 pick.
Yeah.
And he ended up going in the second round. Yes. I mean, like
people comparison to Will Levis.
I believe there is plenty of positive buzz, like legitimate positive buzz behind JJ. I think that's true. But this is all just rumor mill stuff. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the Will Levis comparisons to JJ. JJ is a much better quarterback than Will Levis. Sorry.
I don't even know about that. I really don't. I mean, that's interpretation. That's up for opinion. I mean, my opinion is Michael Penix is way better than JJ. Like, I don't even think they're close. But
Wow.
I would have if I was running.
Well, if he's so much better, then why did JJ outperform him in the combine? Then how do you explain that?
A combine is what? I literally told you I don't quarterback. I literally could care less what they do at the combine.
Yeah.
Well, isn't Darrell a stats guy? Darrell's a stats guy, right? Who had the better score? JJ did.
What did you say?
Well,
Isn't Darrell a stats guy? He's all about stats and stuff. JJ had a better combine score than Nick or Penix. So I'm trying to. If he's so much better, don't you think he would have outperformed JJ though?
I mean, JJ is a better athlete than both of them. I mean, than probably both of them. I don't know.
See, my argument.
I watched the whole. I've watched Penix play for 5 years. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I watched JJ play for 3 years, and he's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't think they're close. I really don't. I mean, like that's just my personal evaluation watching. And I've been wrong many times before. I could be wrong on this.
Well, no offense, Sean. You've been dogging on JJ all year, so that doesn't surprise me.
I'm saying he's overrated and overhyped. I think people give him way more credit than he's actually.
You'll find out.
That is all I've ever said about him. I think he's a product of Michigan hype machine of the Michigan of the propaganda of the Michigan propaganda machine. He was a fine functional. He was a good game manager quarterback for them. And that's kind of what he was. He threw for under 900 yards in his last 6 games.
And he made the crucial plays when they counted.
How many of those that were there? Really?
Enough.
Couple, like 1 or 2?
I remember.
Even if he advances and becomes this great quarterback in the NFL, he still wasn't the reason they won the national championship this year. Like he still was just a guy who kind of helped get them there.
You can't really say that because
it is nothing.
I don't think they win a national championship without JJ. Honestly,
yeah, put Cade in there.
Yeah, I mean, you might not have, but you definitely might have. I mean, there's been plenty of completely average quarterbacks, not great quarterbacks that have won national championships in college.
I have a question for everyone.
Yeah, Jackson.
You look back on Jacob Coker, Ken Dorsey. You can go back through. There's been a lot of Gino Torettas. I mean, like there've been quarterbacks that have just been good enough when they've been in college.
Who's gonna take Michael Penix and who's gonna take McCarthy? Because I'll be honest, I've got a feeling the Vikings could take McCarthy. Honestly,
there's a lot of teams that could take him. I mean, there's a lot of teams.
I hope they don't.
A lot will depend on what happens in free agency. I think the Vikings want to bring Kirk back for another couple years. I think that's what they want to do.
Well, if you're looking to win the big games, you're not going to win them with Kirk.
Well, I don't. I completely disagree. I think he's perfectly fine. I mean, like I would feel way more comfortable going into next season with Kirk Cousins as my starter than JJ McCarthy. I mean, it's not close.
One thing I'll say, just to bring the kind of PR communications angle to it, since that's been one of my career focus points. And I think that a lot of the combine, it's not what's on the field, but it's what's off the field. And it's the conversations that have been going on behind the scenes with teams, with ownership. And JJ, as one example, has been meeting with the Seahawks as well as I believe it was like 10 or 11.
Yeah. I saw a list of 11 teams he met with.
Yeah, and so JJ, and we've seen it. He has best in class media training, and he wins the interview. He wins the interview. He wins the conference. And so just as much as his athletic talents on the field, and I do think he's athletic, and I think at his absolute peak, I've seen Mahomes-esque stuff from him at his absolute peak when he's had a couple of really good plays in his career. It's looked Mahomes-esque in improvisation. However, most of the time I'd say it's good, not, amazing, but good leadership. But I think off the field is just as important at these things, and winning the conference. So I'll leave. Jackson, looks like you were going to say something.
Yeah, agree. Great points on when you draft a player, you got to make sure he's not only great off the field, but he's great off the field as well. You don't want another Damon Arnett situation where he's acting like a buffoon on Instagram, waving his weapon around, acting like he's some sort of gunfighter. It's like, yeah, the Raiders showed you what a gunfighter you were, all right. Can't be doing that.
Yes. I knew he would get up. He would get riled up. Go back and watch 2021 Western Michigan for number one of those moments. Go watch Alabama when he had that moment where he literally had to catch the ball with one hand and then zip it over to Roman Wilson at the last second, or he's going to get trucked. There's a few. I'm not saying there were a ton. I'm saying there were a few.
Well, the first word you said, John, that game against Western Michigan, when he rolled out to the right and threw it to the other sideline, that was like one of the nastiest passes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and definitely from a Michigan quarterback.
Not many quarterbacks can make that throw.
I know everybody's loving it. So somebody asked about tomorrow night. So tomorrow, that Michigan Wolverines live, someone had hit that video instead. Well, thank you for checking that out, and hit that like button too, as well as this one if you are going over there. But that's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm not going to be the host. It's going to be Mark Rogers, voice of college football, as well as TJ Konarski, who's been a regular guest recently, Ronin Sports Talk. So definitely give that a spin tomorrow night and support Mark. He always does a great job. All right. We do have a super chat, so let's get to that. How did Minnesota safety Tyler Nubin, I think you mean,
He did well.
He did well, and in fact,
he's number one.
Lombardi Avenue article said Tyler Nubin is the best safety in the class.
Yeah, 79. He got a 79 grade.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know if he participated in a lot of the drills in the combine. I think he's dealing with an injury. Something I don't remember seeing a lot of any data from him.
I think he beats Nubin, not Newman. It's Nubin.
Tyler Nubin. It's Nubin.
Yeah,
he's probably using. I know he knows how to. I know he knows his name. He's probably using voice to text.
Yeah, it might be
Nubin. I know that Dave knows the gophers.
But Minnesota Dave, we do appreciate that super chat, and I think Nubin is going to go somewhere pretty hot. Like I said, this was a Packers affiliated article I'm looking at here, and it's the number one target according to this could be Tyler Nubin at Minnesota. So at least from a safety perspective. So
he'll be. I'm pretty sure he will be the first safety off the board. It's a weak safety class this year.
I'm thinking he goes like early second round. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I would say somewhere in the top 45-ish picks. Yeah.
So last but certainly not least, another reflection of how the Big Ten is growing is that the schedule for media days is now it's not 2 days anymore, it's 3. So we have here on the 23rd, we've got Illinois, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, Rutgers, Wisconsin. Then on the 24th, we got Iowa. You can see the logos, and then Thursday, rounding it out with Michigan, Washington, Maryland, etc., Oregon. So 3 days. And obviously, I think they did a good job of spreading out the big brands versus the upcomings, the upstart programs. Kind of have a good mix here of each one. Obviously, we'll get to what some of the topics might be that they might ask, but I mean, seeing this, this made it for me feel real. Like this is happening. Like this is happening, and it's coming in the next couple months here.
Yeah, it's interesting. 3 days, and a little more spread out. Maybe a little bit more time. I don't know. Are we? Is the voice of college football going again this year?
Yep. You have to ask Mark Rogers that. I do not know, but he did a great job last year, and he was the only one who asked the coaches the real questions. He didn't ask about the Barbie movie. No. He asked, literally to James Franklin's face, "What are you going to do to beat Michigan and Ohio State?" I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Can we get a supercut of all the coaches' answers to the Barbie movie question?
I don't know if that was just Brett Bielema or if others were also asked. But I remember Brett Bielema was, and I was just face palming.
I'm not sitting there worrying about what the coaches think about the Barbie movie or Oppenheimer or what the upcoming movies are.
Or Barbenheimer.
I want to hear. Last week. It was unbelievable. I loved it.
I want to hear what the team's looking like. I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. That's what I'm there to hear. That's just me now.
Yep. So it'll be at Lucas Oil Stadium, and Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti, will be addressing the media on day one. It's definitely more to come on that, and obviously we will at Voice of College Football provide you with continuing coverage, either live there or at the very least with all of our shows in the run up.
Now that's what I call Christmas in July, because we're going to be seeing the Big 12 media days, the SEC media days, and the Big 10 media days in July. I don't know when the ACC media days are, but that's going to be awesome. I'm already looking forward to it.
Is this a touch earlier than it normally is? Because I always thought it was like right before fall camp started, and that was
it's before fall
camp. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, John, Michigan's pro day is on March 22nd. That's a day before my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Oh, damn. Okay. You gonna stop by and
run some go routes for JJ and make sure you don't let up.
JJ the Jet Plane McCarthy.
I'll run for Penix and make sure I slow down so I can catch his deep ball.
Nice.
Oh man, Penix is a great quarterback. He's gonna do well. Now it seems like it's right. So
the most interesting part of JJ's combine, though, we didn't touch on it at all. He weighed in at 219.
Yes.
And I mean, I know there are a lot of, and he also did not run the 40 or did not do the vertical or broad jump. I know the official story is that he had a hamstring issue or something like that.
Yes, he had a tight hamstring.
I'm always a little skeptical when I see stuff like this. I mean, because it's like, a lot of times it's like I've heard this story a million times. It's like, guys,
there's only one quarterback that ran a 40. That was Hartman. Hartman was the only one that ran a 40, and one other quarterback.
Yeah, in the second round, a couple people.
I saw Spencer Rattler ran something that was
Rattler.
I was just kind of like, ooh, that's why run it if you're going to put that kind of number up? But no, I mean, like that was interesting because I even thought I didn't think JJ really could get his body up to that to even step on the scale, even if he's naturally, that means he's naturally probably at least walking around in the upper 208, 209 kind of range. So, I mean, that's bigger than people thought he was.
That was a big criticism of JJ.
Yeah.
coming into this is that he needed to bulk up a little bit and he needed to put on some weight. So there you go.
Hey John, I thought that Ohio State puts elite players in the NFL. Did you see some of their scores for the combine? They were pretty bad.
Yeah, Tommy.
I think
Ryan
Williams got a 63 score. Wow.
Wait.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tommy
Ryan
Eichenberg
Williams
got,
is he was our third string running back. So,
Well,
Yeah.
Tommy Two Thumbs got a 70. He got barely above average, so that's not really that good.
he got the best score, I think.
I mean, Cade Stover had a pretty good combine. He ran a really good 40.
Yeah, he got a 76. That's pretty good.
His I mean, those are probably like the overall grades as a prospect, not necessarily how they did at the combine here.
No, that was actually
Eichenberg.
Eichenberg,
who I think he's like borderline draftable. He just weighed in and jumped, didn't put out much of a score here. The most notable one who did anything significant was Stover, and he's fast, and I think you watched and you could sense that from him. He ran a low 4.6 time, like a 4.6, ran a 4.62. That's a really good time for a tight end. And
preseason,
so I mean, they just don't have many. They just don't have many players really in this draft. Marvin did nothing.
Golden's asking about that.
I mean, whatever. He's going to be a top 5 pick.
Same as Caleb and Drake May, and they didn't run it. They didn't do the combine.
Guys at that caliber, you hardly ever see them do anything.
I seen a Doomsday, the wide receiver from Washington, got an elite score at the combine.
He did good.
Yeah.
Wow. He got a 90. That's really good.
Somebody needs to get Roma Dunze. I tell you right now, he's a baller.
Oh, he's gonna get taken quick. He's not gonna be on the board very long.
He'll be probably in that 6 to 10 range somewhere. I don't know. It'll be interesting between him and Malik Neighbors.
At least top 15. He's not going any farther than 15 for sure.
No, I highly doubt he even makes it that far. I mean, like into the double digits part. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had a 991 RAS score unofficially, I guess. But yeah, so he's a 99th percentile athlete at the position. Yeah.
Yeah, the rod is right. I mean, if you're locked to be a top 15 pick, if you're on the bubble,
I don't necessarily know about that. I mean, like, it makes perfect sense, especially if you're Roma Dunze and you're going to absolutely blow it up.
Yeah,
draft
stock.
I could do nothing. I could do nothing and go 12th, but if I do something, I may go 5th.
Right.
Exactly. You don't need to do a thing at the combine if you're at the top 15, but you got to make sure stay in shape. That's important. Don't be having a bag of chips and watching bad television and drinking Coca-Colas. That stuff will mess your body up real quick.
Before we get to final thoughts, I do want to remind everybody that in less than an hour, because they're doing it again at the earlier time, so Trojan Conquest Live, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's why we're going to stop early for that reason, and also because I got a business trip first thing in the morning. So we're going to stop a little early today, but also because we want to send everybody to the Trojan Show, Trojan Conquest Live at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, with Mark Rogers, voice of college football, as well as Tim Prangley and Matt Zemek, both from Trojans Wire, because they're both writing for Trojans Wire now. So check that show out and see what they're going to be talking about tonight. I will.
They're going to be talking about the Reggie Bush, whether he'll get the Heisman back, especially for that Twitter X campaign push from Johnny Manziel, and even
Johnny
Rick
Manziel.
Pitano's joined in on the Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back as well.
No offense, but if you got Johnny Manziel pushing for you, that's not a good look.
Well, he also said,
I'll tell you this: Johnny Manziel did give an interview that I found to be like one of the most refreshing.
Club
Yeah.
Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp.
yeah.
I mean, like it's just like I mean, this is I don't know if I've seen a fallen from grace athlete ever be more contrite and more introspective and more more insightful about the struggles they faced. I mean, like he was brutally honest with himself and to the audience, and I would encourage anybody to go watch that interview because
Oh man, like
I was really impressed with it. I mean, it's just makes me feel for the guy.
Yeah, I gotta say that was like one of the best.
So his
interviews of the
official quote.
year.
His official quote was that after careful thought and consideration, I will be humbly removing myself from the Heisman Trophy ceremony, saying he wouldn't return until Bush's trophy is returned. It doesn't sit right with my morals and values that he can't be on the stage with us every year. I love the sentiment, but Johnny Manziel talking about morals and values was an interesting thing there. So, but yes, all on board to give Reggie back his Heisman train. And I'm
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look right for Manziel to be pulling for him like that after everything that happened with him.
There it is.
Well, I mean, voice of college football's very own Tim Prangley has been pushing for this for God knows how long. I mean, Reggie needs his Heisman back as well as he should. And like you say, Sean, that Club Shay Shay interview with Johnny Manziel, that's been one of the best interviews of the year 2024 thus far. I mean, that interview and like the Cat Williams interview with Club Shay Shay, where he just goes, Joe don't want me. He don't want me. He's more focused on those hits on funny comedians. That's what Joseph is focused on.
Yeah, those are some good interviews with Shan Sharp. He's really that podcast is really taking off. So good for him.
Not a surprise. He's always been really good with people, and there's never going to be an second of dead air with him.
Hell no.
That would be cool.
All right, y'all. It's time. Final thought. Let's go. We're going to start with Moose. Final thought for you, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at you can post a link if you want, and I'm on YouTube too. I'm on YouTube also if you want to subscribe there too. But yeah, just looking forward to spring football coming back pretty soon, and just missing the college football already. So yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks for having me, John. Go Blue.
Thanks, Moose. Go Blue. All right. Next up, Sean.
Okay, I have a flight in like 12 hours. I'm heading to Washington, D.C. I will be there for the week.
Oh, sweet.
I'll be there. So the Big Ten Wrestling Championships are at the University of Maryland.
Oh, nice.
On Saturday and Sunday. And my mom just retired, so I'm taking her on a retirement trip. She's always wanted to visit DC. So this will be a big trip for both of us. I'm very excited. Get to see our nation's capital, visit, all the historic landmarks and monuments.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then
Spy Museum. Go to the Spy Museum. Definitely.
I have heard that is one of the few places that you actually have to pay to go in, right? Is the admission?
You might have to pay a little, but they just built a brand new venue a couple of years ago, and it's a good place. Yeah, and then the Smithsonian's obviously.
All those Smithsonian museums. We've got reservations planned on at a few of those. So 4 days in DC and then 2 days at in the University of Maryland coming up, and then I'll be back here hopefully with you guys next week.
Cool.
I mean,
Hopefully we see you on After Dark. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, you might not. We'll see.
maybe you might.
That would be a stretch.
Well,
But
I'm
on
sure
the bright side,
with Ben, we'll figure it out.
for sure. I mean, on the bright side, it was fun getting to catch some Z's last night, so that's a plus.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great one.
Later, Sean.
You too. Stay safe. Stay warm.
It's cold outside.
There you go.
Not really.
There we go.
It's not. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, we're down to you, Jackson.
Yep.
Final thought, where can people find you?
Well, I'm increasingly worried about where the state of college football is going, honestly. Yeah. I just hope that all the rivalries can either be brought back or, we can keep them in some way, shape, or form, especially with this super conference post I saw from Andy Staples from On3. I'm increasingly worried about that. But of course, I'll be discussing my take on where the future of college football is heading right now and where I think it could be 5-10 years from now on West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Mountaineer Locker Room with Frank Fear and Coach Chris. And it's going to be a pretty good one. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hope that we don't see an SEC Big Ten monopoly, but we're just getting closer and closer to it. But you can also check out Friday afternoon, where I'll be doing the college basketball recap preview show with Will and D.
Hey.
Friday afternoon, 3 p.m., where we discuss our takes on what's happening in college basketball. And of course, episode 28 of the Jacksonian will be released on Twitter at Jackson09960335 and on Jackson Johnson 979 at YouTube, where I'm trying to get the 500 subs. Where I will be having with me is Mark Zednetto, the host of Locked On UConn. Can UConn become the first repeat champion since Florida basketball from Billy Donovan? Can they get it done on the road? I hope for his sake they beat Marquette, especially on the road. Let me tell you, it's going to be a wild one, so stay tuned.
Yeah, just hearing UConn and then like, champions, and I'm just like, it just blows my mind because I'm thinking about UConn football, and they're definitely in a much better place with the basketball program.
Oh, for sure. And, we'll also discuss as to whether, once UConn leaves their independence as a football program, they're not going to be like UMass where they have to stay in the same conference they do in football. Hope not, but we'll wait and see.
Jackson, we appreciate you stopping by as always, and we'll definitely see you next time, okay?
All right. You stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy your trip. And thank you for having me on another exciting edition of the Ocho.
Thanks, buddy. Okay. Last but certainly not least, we do have a super chat again from Minnesota Dave breaking out the big bucks here. So thank you for that. I think we should wipe off every NCAA probation ruling should be removed. If Reggie Bush gets his Heisman back, I would love to see those Clem Haskins basketball years back. Yeah, I think anything related to pay to play or paid sponsorship or anything like that. Let's address it now. Because obviously it may have the argument that it was illegal those years, so it should still be. They should still have their stuff taken away. That doesn't hold water to me. I think Reggie Bush is probably one of the best college football players of all time. He's on my top 5 for sure. And the fact that he doesn't have his Heisman is just absurd to me. So yeah, let's support the Tim Prangley and Matt Zemek and all of them in their campaign to get the Heisman back for him. Okay, a couple of final reminders. Don't forget that tomorrow night, remember, I will not be hosting the Michigan show. Instead, you get the man himself. Mark Rogers, voice of college football, will be hosting the Michigan show. Who could ask for better than that? Come on. You're in for a treat. So go over to the Michigan channel where Mark is going to be talking with, he's becoming a pretty regular guest, TJ Konarski from Ronin Sports Talk. He's been bringing some good takes and some special info the last couple weeks. And I've really appreciated his contributions. And now he's going to be on with the man himself, Mark Rogers, tomorrow night. So check it out. Go ahead and support them. And then we will absolutely be back with you the following week. And I will be back. So that's what's happening there. And then a couple of final housekeeping notes from Moose, reminding us about Aura, which is one of the, if you want to really support Voice of College Football, but you don't want to necessarily contribute financially, obviously hit the like button. Doing Amazon link won't get, you don't have to pay any extra, right? But Mark gets some. But here's one where, obviously you go to aura.com/MarkRogers, get a 14-day free trial to secure your finances, information, and identity. I have tried it myself. It is very interesting what is out there and where your info goes. And I thought it was really cool. And so all you have to do is go to aura.com/MarkRogers for a free trial. And that really does support the channel in a major, major way. Hint, hint, go do it if you haven't already. Yes, check out the merch store. As you can see here, this is a quality Voice of College Football mug. It holds a full cup of coffee. On the Nespresso, if you use the Nespresso pods as I do, you pop one in, you put this right under, and it has the perfect amount of liquid for your use for your coffee or other beverage consumption. Let's see here. Okay. There's been a lot of Michigan, Ohio State discussion, as always, or people saying Michigan. Yeah, I'm not going to go up there. Yeah, that's the Twilight Zone up there. I'm going to stay away. But I respect everybody's right to comment how they want to. As long as you're not breaking our rules, I don't care. Okay. So join us in about 40 minutes for the next show that we're doing, which is on the USC channel. So head on over there. I'm going to post the link right now. So literally no excuse to at least hit the like button for them. Trojan Conquest live at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. There it is. Just hit that link, hit the like button over there. Help get them started, if nothing else. And if you do want to stay and contribute, just let them know that John sent you. And we'll keep a tally and all that good stuff. I also want to thank you all for the viewership tonight. We really took it up a notch, which I do appreciate everybody telling people about this show, telling people that it's happening Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We normally get great guests, and I will step it up next week and get a good media guest, as we have done every week up until this week when we had one of those weeks, and just so happened that I had to deal with a business trip and work and everything else, and the people I asked weren't able to do it. It is what it is. It happens, but we will get that back rolling next week for you, and we'll see what teams emerge from that. We still have a lot to cover. So, anyways, join me in 40 minutes in chat as we watch Trojan Conquest Live, part of the Voice of College Football Network on the USC channel. And until next time, who's got it better than us? Nobody. And also, go blue. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.